Hey everyone, welcome to Zack Attack Reviews. Thank you for joining me for my Throwback Thursday review of If Beale Street Could Talk. Directed by Barry Jenkins and starring Stephen James and Kiki Lane. This movie is a contradiction when it comes to my feelings because I was mesmerized by the beauty of the film and the filmmaking, the acting, and the themes that they were displaying, but frustrated by what was happening to the characters and how it was just reminiscent of things that I've seen in the Black community through so many years of injustice. So it was just a really hard thing to watch, but I couldn't look away because of how beautiful the film was and how great the story was being told. Before I get into it, just remember to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you can join the community, and you can also be part of Throwback Thursdays because these are films that I've never seen before, and the community votes on which films through choices that I make of different films that I haven't seen, and they voted for this one. This one won by a large margin. So you can be involved each week in making me see different movies that I've never seen before. Hit that subscribe button. But let's start with the premise. In early 1970s Harlem, daughter and wife-to-be Tish vividly recalls the passion, respect, and trust that have connected her and her artist fiancé Alonzo Hunt, who goes by the nickname Fonnie. Friends since childhood, the devoted couple dream of a future together, but their plans are derailed when Fonnie is arrested for a crime he did not commit. Beale Street Could Talk is rated R for some language and some sexual content. Let's start off with the good. So Kiki Lane as Tish and Stephen James as Fonnie are phenomenal in this film. They are the leads. They carry a lot of the film, especially Kiki Lane, who does a lot of monologuing as she's telling the story in a very, very poetic way. Their childhood friends turn lovers as they cross over into the young adult age. They have fantastic chemistry that makes it immediately believable that they are as madly in love as they're displaying and we're being told, because it's not just tell and not show. They show it and tell it at the same time. You see what Tish feelings actually is, but we also display it as she chronologizes how their love has grown over course of a certain time, over this course of this year that this movie takes place in. The way director Barry Jenkins and his crew that did all the technical work on this film shoot this film like it's a fantasy love story, a lover star-crossed across the galaxy love story, where it's just long shots of them going about their day in this hazy, beautiful cinematography, and staying on them, looking at each other a lot of time. You can see the love and passion that they have for one another. I love romantic comedies and romance movies and things like that, and it was really beautiful just to see these two go about their day in their nice little bubble, detailing why they love each other, how they support each other in different ways, and how they feel like they can't survive without one another. And I really could have just watched a full movie on just them two dealing with the trials and tribulations of trying to break out from their parents and the drama between both families, and I would have been really satisfied. First half of this film's pacing is vital to engaging the story. It switches back between the past, showing you how their love grew, and to the present, where the real life, cold life interrupts this fantasy love that they have. We get into the cold parts of the film where Fonnie goes to jail and the families comes to blow. Unfortunately, like I said in the premise, Fonnie has been accused of a crime of sexual assault, and all things point to his innocence, that he did not do this, that it was no way that he could do this. But unfortunately, the system was going about a way where they were saying that he did it, and that all things seemed that he was going to go to jail. As a Black person growing up, this was extremely frustrating because I know people who've gone through these things, being falsely accused of crimes, and I've gone through certain things like this to a much, much, much lesser extent myself. So it just brought up really frustrating feelings of seeing this guy who was very innocent and trying to, just provide for his family, and the system is just pushing him to become another statistic and be accused of something that he never did, something that could follow him for the rest of his life. The movie excruciatingly details the families scrambling, trying to find the funds, trying to find the proof that Fonnie did not commit this act. And while we're going on this emotional journey where we go back and forth between them still showing their budding relationship and why this couple is so great, to the family scrambling, trying to figure out how to get Fonnie out of jail before he goes to prison. We see many aspects of the Black experience in the 70s that still transpire to this day. Tish is pregnant with Fonny's baby, which should be a joyous occasion, should be a great thing that both families are going to celebrate. Unfortunately, his family does not. They shame Tish like she's some succubus, some devilish character that ruined their son's life, and it really was a frustrating thing to see because it brings up a lot of problems that we have in the Black community where we don't protect our own and come together and make little things that don't matter in the grand scheme get in the way of protecting one another, especially when one of us is innocent and we know that he's innocent. As the film progresses, we start seeing more of the film through Tish's eyes as she monologues the events as they go. We start really getting into the type of character and person Fonny is, his passion for art, his ingenuity, how he has a lot of passion for Tish herself and what he sees for the future for them, and how he really loves her and feels like they are one person, and really made me feel really, really scared to see them get separated or, something bad happen to him, because they cut back to parts of him in jail and he's having a rough time. And while we're going through all this journey and she's detailing it, we get some really cool cameos from some of my favorite actors in the biz right now, guys like Diego Luna, Andor himself, Dave Franco, the better Franco, and Brian Tyree Henry, one of my favorite actors doing it right now. They all play different parts into his journey and him trying to figure out what he's going to do with his soon-to-be wife, because he wants to get married to Tish, and of course the baby itself, and also what may happen if he ends up going to jail. He has a very powerful conversation with Brian Tyree Henry's character, who did go to jail before, and just details in just the most darkest fashion that what they do to people like that, especially in the 70s. And once again, with the fantastical feel of the film, it played like a dark fable until all the fantasy was destroyed by this officer who decided to harass Fonny at a grocery store. And luckily, he was protected by the grocery store owner, a white ally who saw past his skin color and just saw that him and Tish were great people. And what really frustrated me about this is that we find out later that this cop who told him that he would see Fonny around next time, it'll be different, is the same cop that is saying that he saw Fonny fleeing from the crime scene of the victim that got sexually assaulted. So at this point, I went from frustrated with this journey and seeing what's going on to angry, because this wasn't just a mistaken identity, maybe someone that looks like him, or all Black people look the same and they're just accusing him. This was a calculated attack by this racist officer. So many times we hear so many stories of things like that's happening right now, and it's crazy to see like it happening in the 70s where there's no body cams, there's less justice than there is now, and there's still a lot of injustices going on, and it really pissed me off so much. I was just like, this is ridiculous. It made me feel even more like everything is against him. There's no way he's going to be able to get out of this, because not only is this cop, they showed both sides. They showed that, yes, there are some racist white cops and things like that are against the Black young men in the community, but then he also had like a white lawyer who was on his side, believed him, and was doing everything he could to try to help Fonny. But every step he tried to take, they pushed back and was giving him no go. And it was just really frustrating seeing that this ally trying so hard to help this young Black man that he knows didn't do it, because the proof was there, but the system was just not trying to take it. And after detailing all the struggles and trials and tribulations of Fonny before jail, and then what he's going through during jail, and all these conversations and the love between them two, and what Tish is trying to do to get his innocence proved, we get into the third act where it kind of shifts over to her mother, who's played by the fantastic, wonderful Regina King, one of my favorite actresses, whatever you want to call her, in the game right now, as she pleads and pleads and pleads with the victim. She knows, she believes the victim got victimized. She says she's a woman, and she gets it, the detail that in which she talked about and how she looks and looks traumatized. But she knows that Fonny didn't do it. She knows this boy from when he was a little kid, and she knows he would never do something like that. And even the victim says she's not 100% sure, because it was dark and she didn't really get to see him, but she's so traumatized, she's so hurt, understandably, that she doesn't even care. She doesn't want to try to help Fonny. She just wants to have someone get her justice on someone and just be left alone, which was a mixture of feelings for me watching that part, because at one moment, obviously, I want Fonny to have an opportunity to be free. This person knows that in her heart that she didn't do it, but on the other hand, someone that is a victim of this and that's going through something like that, it's hard to tell them to relive it. It's hard to tell them to get back to it when they're trying to heal and move on, and you're trying to drag them back into the situation, and then you're telling them that this person didn't do it. So now in their head, the person who committed the crime is out there. It was just a mixed bag of feelings. And like I said, mesmerizing the way they go in detail and talk about these subjects, but frustrating because of the results that are going on. But unfortunately, in the end of this film, like many people in his situation and the way the system was, especially back then and probably right now, Fonnie has to end up taking a plea deal because the court case keeps getting pushed back, or this person goes missing, or this is filed wrong. So he ends up taking a plea deal and going to jail, which was really frustrating to see. But I understand this is something that was commonplace back then, and we get some solace with the ending of the film, with him getting to see his son and have some family time, even though he's in jail, and they allude to him not being in jail for too much longer. He's going to be getting out soon. So that was a little bit of a relief from the stressful last couple minutes of the film. But it was just sort of like a really hard watch, and knowing that this really, really great person who just wanted to build and help his family was being punished for something that he didn't do. On a technical basis, this movie was so well put together between Barry Jenkins' tight directing, the mesmerizing cinematography from James Laxton, like I said, going from the fantasy, hazy feel of that bubble that we were getting, whether it was the love story, that star-crossed feeling that they had, to the dark fable feeling when he was having those conversations between him and Brian Tyree Henry, to it being burst and kind of, not literally, it's not like that kind of transition, it's not cartoony anything, but it's like a nice transition to the way he beautifully captured Harlem and even the hardened parts of it. He just did a fantastic job, and it was like a character in itself as well. This is one of the most beautiful movies I've ever seen, and a beautiful score, and a great score by Nicholas Bertel that really brought life and wonder and horror to a lot of different scenes and really put you in the mood for what was happening next. Now let's talk about the bad. So I love the first act, and as frustrating as it was going through the third act, I really enjoyed it as well. The second act I enjoyed, but they stopped the pacing where they went back and forth between the past and the present and things like that. And I thought when they were doing that, it would end a scene, and that scene would be completed, and you get everything, and it will go to another one, and it was perfectly paced. But they stuck in the past for a long time, and while I think that the information was vital, because it was telling a lot about what was going on with Fonnie and his struggles before and during jail, I thought that the pacing was just really, really slow, and some of the scenes dragged on for a long time, longer than it probably needed to be. Let me get into my verdict. So overall, I really, really enjoyed this film. I think that is essential cinema that people need to see, because these stories and struggles are not seen on TV shows or movies often. We get a lot of Black trauma films, but not something like this that's so beautiful and so hard to watch at the same time. Get to see these stories in the news in detail like this, really showing the struggle that the family is going through to help their family. So I think that this is an essential, great film that just was well directed, really well acted, star-studded cast. I could go on forever about everybody that was in this cast. It was really amazing. Even the people who were just like in small parts, they utilized their little small parts the best they can to make a memorable impact. But overall, I thought this movie was really great, and I really, really enjoyed my time with it, even though it was a movie that also angered me, but all for all the right reasons. You should, if you don't get angered by watching this film and seeing what's going on, you may have to question some things about your morality. So with that said, I'm going to give If Beale Street Could Talk a B+. Did you like it? Did you hate it? What would you rate If Your Beale Street Could Talk? And what do you think that title means? Let me know in the comments below. Like the video if you like my review. Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you can be notified of my reviews, reactions, ranking lists, and live discussions. And also help the community grow. Join the community so when you see these polls go up for these Throwback Thursday films, you can vote and decide on which one you wanted me to review next. And you can watch more of my content right now.